cost on the back end to a family that doesn't have that person come home at night.
A fatal crash tears two families apart. Now one is seeking closure in the form of a $120 million lawsuit.
The lawsuit won't bring the young man back, but their attorney says it will hold two truck drivers responsible. The official cause of the crash remains under investigation, but one victim's family says distracted driving is to blame. Tonight,
CBS 7 is digging deeper, learning what trucking companies can and cannot do to reduce the risks of cell phone use and distracted driving. As CBS 7's Christopher Saul learns, it's an uphill battle. Christopher?
This is the spot where it all happened, a busy roadway during rush hour, and now two men are dead. But will a $120 million lawsuit hold guilty parties accountable?
Victor Vasquez made his living on these roads, working for a local electrical contractor. Just 4 days before the Christmas holiday, everything changed. The 23-year-old Monahans man and his co-worker, Jesse Urias, passed away in a big rig crash, ripping him away from friends and family.
The situation that we were out there, it was sad.
The crash was so violent it ripped an engine out of one of the vehicles. The crash remains under investigation. DPS officials believe the accident was caused by a failure to control speed and distracted driving. The Vasquez family filed a $120 million lawsuit against Rogelio Perez, Luis Lopez, and their Schlumberger-owned company.
Rogelio Perez and Luis Saucedo Lopez were driving their Schlumberger-owned trucks on Farm to Market 866. When Perez slowed down to make a right turn right behind me, Saucedo Lopez hit the back of the truck, went into oncoming traffic, hitting and killing Urias and Vasquez when their car set on fire and burned them both to death.
We tried to speak to the drivers.
Hello, Mr. Perez.
But the family had no comment.
No comment.
Still grieving the loss of their son, the family declined to speak on camera. So whose job is it to keep your family safe? After 2 years patrolling big rigs, Trooper Baker knows the ins and the outs of truck law, including the rules on distracted driving. But catching drivers breaking the law is an almost impossible task.
Unfortunately, I would say quite a few get away with it. And now they have a height advantage on us. They're going to see us coming along before we see the opportunity to get close enough to see up in that cab if they're on the phone.
The handful of troopers in the area qualified to even pull over big rigs is small, just 9 between Midland and Odessa.
So they've gone through not only the 6-month academy, but probably an additional 12-week academy.
To get an idea of just how many truckers are focused on phones, food, or other distractions, I sat on the side of Interstate 20 West one morning for half an hour. Of the 76 trucks passing by, 8 drivers that morning were either on their phones, eating food, or otherwise not focusing. It led me to wonder, if DPS cannot keep all of these drivers off of their phones, is there someone else who can?
All right, let's go to battery and compressor.
And if it's a value only because you're doing a brochure, it won't work.
Dawn Keller came to the oil field 2 years ago after a career in disaster response with one goal: to reduce accidents and deaths for her employees and everyone else on the roads. She says training and protocol are the keys to safer roadways in our areas.
We want to have a safety culture, which is much more about people doing the right thing because they've been trained, they have ethics, and they want to do the right thing.
At Slingshot Services, Dawn implements a thorough check of every truck, everything from the engine to the horn to the lights are checked and maintained before they hit the road every single day.
10-15 minutes, what's the cost on the back end to a family that doesn't have that person come home at night?
Front good.
Since her first day on the job, accidents and near misses have plummeted. But distracted driving cannot be eliminated.
There is a policy, and I'll be honest, there's never 100% compliances in anything.
Safety protocols the families of these 2 men in this crash wish had been in place that day.
We've requested the records of all of the drivers involved in this incident, but we've been denied. We still plan on fighting to get those for you. For now, in West Odessa, Christopher Saul, CBS 7 News.
Christopher, thanks so much. And just the last 48 hours, we have uncovered new details in this story. After a public information request by the family's attorney, the Texas Department of Public Safety said, quote, "We would like to inform you the troopers' investigation is ongoing. No information will be released." But they went on to say the investigation will be presented to a grand jury.